This episode is brought to you by the Boneyard Huskies Club. The Boneyard Huskies Club empowers UConn student athletes while providing UConn fans with access to exclusive community, utility, and rewards. The Boneyard Huskies Club is excited to announce Locker Mania. If the UConn men's basketball team wins the NCAA championship, fans who purchase a Boneyard Huskies Club men's basketball 2022-2023 season collectible will automatically receive full credit back for each purchase, and the athletes will still receive the full revenue from sales of their collectibles. For more information, go to boneyardhuskiesclub.com. That's Huskies with a YZ at the end. boneyardhuskiesclub.com. Okay, it's Final Four week for UConn, and next up for them is Miami. And joining us to help preview Miami is the coach at Georgia Tech. He battled UConn when he was at Memphis. Josh Pastner. He gave one of Miami one of its 7 losses this year. So, Coach, thanks so much for coming on today.
Well, thanks for having me, Jared. Excited to talk some basketball and the Final Four. Congratulations to the UConn Huskies. As you mentioned, I was at Memphis. We had some great battles with UConn many times, and had some great games and some great memories. I don't know if people remember one of my teams there. We played UConn in senior day in Hartford. No, I can't remember if it was in Stores or Hartford. I can't remember, but maybe it was in Stores, but it was in senior. Yeah, it was in Stores. It was in Stores. Senior day for the group. I forget all the guys, and we ended up winning the game in Stores on senior day. It was awesome. The night before, I went to Gino's restaurant.
Yeah.
Yep, the Italian spot. But we had played him in Hartford a couple times. But yeah, that game where we won on senior night was in Stores, so that was a great win, a great memory. Pretty cool. And but to have tremendous respect for UConn and what they've done. So congratulations to all the Husky fans who are watching, listening to this podcast on for them getting to the Final Four.
Thanks. So for start this off, for fans who maybe have just watched bits and pieces of this Miami team throughout the tournament or the season, kind of give me the high level overview, as you're thinking about this Miami team and what they bring to the table.
Yeah, Miami's a really good team. They're not a big team. UConn's going to be bigger than them in pretty much, especially in the front line.
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple things with Miami. Their guards are excellent. Guys like Isaiah Wong, who's the ACC Player of the Year. Nigel Pack, who's small, but he can really play, can really shoot it. Obviously, Norchad Ormir is a big time offensive rebounder. One of the successes that we had when we beat Miami earlier in the year, we got Omir in foul trouble. And if you notice the game versus Texas, when Texas was pulling away, Omir was in foul trouble.
Yeah.
And big play late when they thought it might have been on his 5th foul, but they gave it to the Texas guy, I think to Cunningham instead.
Yep.
And people, because that they don't have enough without Omir in the middle because of his rebounding. Now he's undersized, but he's an elite rebounder on both ends of the floor. But the key to that team is, and he's kind of just under the radar, like not enough people talk about him. Like he's a stud. Is the Miller kid?
Yeah,
Jordan Miller. He is really good. He's a hard matchup. He's 6'8", athletic, can score, can take you off the dribble, can shoot threes. He's a really, really hard matchup. So, I think UConn's playing as well as anybody right now, obviously. I mean, if anyone was going to be picking the champion, is going to be UConn. The only thing I would say with UConn, and Coach Hurley has done an incredible job, and they're playing tremendous. And people forgot earlier in the year, they were the best team in the country, UConn. They had a little bit of a slide for a little bit, but the only thing is, and if I'm Coach Hurley, I might be thinking this too, they've been dominating. They just dominated Gonzaga.
Yeah.
But, you don't play again until Saturday. So you don't want to lose that momentum. Like if I'm probably Coach Hurley, man, I wish the Final Four was Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Fans too.
Yeah, because that's probably the only thing that's going to slow UConn down is does the week before they play again, can they lose that edge, that momentum that they've been playing with, because it's a long time not playing in a sense.
I know, and just kind of looking at Ken Pom there and looking at this Miami team, they seem a little similar to Gonzaga in terms of their very potent offense, where they might be a little bit weaker on the defensive side of things? How did you see that in your matchup against them?
Yeah, I mean, Gonzaga's bigger. Gonzaga's bigger than Miami, but I think they're different than Gonzaga. That their quickness from 1 through 5 is different.
Mm-hmm.
So Miami can really score it. Their guard play from just they're an undersized team that plays very loose, plays with a lot of freedom, and they can score in a hurry. And they have guys, Jared, that can just flat out go get their own shot.
Yeah.
They can create their own offense. So they thrive in breakdown offense, if that makes sense. They're able to go get their own bucket when even on a breakdown type of action. And so that will be the difference, the biggest difference between Gonzaga and Miami on Saturday when UConn faces them.
I'm going to take a quick break from the interview to tell you about my friends at Martin Rosol's Meats. This fourth-generation Connecticut family business produces kielbasa, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats using Martin Rosol's very own original recipes. Their products can be found in grocery stores, delis, restaurants, and hot dog stands throughout the state. And if you're looking for your fill right away, check out their retail store in New Britain. For more information, visit martinrosolsinc.com and go support a UConn fan-owned business. And now, back to the interview. When you look at this Miami team, they love the three, but against you guys, Isaiah Wong 0 for 8, Nigel Pack 3 for 12. Anything in particular you did as you scouted for them to try to slow them down a little bit?
It was all the head coach. I mean, it was just incredible coaching. But I mean, what else is there to say? It was all me, nothing else. Everyone out there, I'm joking. I was not being serious on that. I'm totally joking. I was not being serious on that. That being said, back to being serious, in all seriousness, we play a lot of different zones. So we really mixed up our zone defenses. We played some different zones. We tried to keep Miami off balance, and with guys like Wong, Isaiah Wong, and Nigel Pack and Miller and those type of guys, you can't Poplar, who can really shoot it court. You can't allow them just to get in rhythm and in confidence against us. What I believe in, just a set defense. So we've had good success against Miami even in the past, and because of I think us changing of our zones. Again, we played zone man. We did different defenses. We're a little unique on how we played. I thought it kept them off balance, a little off rhythm. But that being said, we also scored. If you looked at our box score, we scored well in that game as well. And like I said, we got Omier in foul trouble, which was a big part because he was not able to be in the game for all that time, because him not being in there, makes a big difference, obviously, for them. If you're Dan Hurley and you're looking at this Miami team, who's the first guy that you're really looking to, put your defensive stopper on? This is the guy you've got circled your game plan around. Well, if you're Coach Hurley, you're going to have to, obviously, Isaiah Wong's the ACC Player of the Year, and he can go get buckets. Nigel Pack can shoot it deep. But I'm telling you, Miller's the key to that team. He's an under-the-radar stud. Yeah. Like, he's under-the-radar stud. Like, he might be their best pro prospect. And so I think he's really good. So if I'm Coach Hurley, yes, I think Wong's going to score. Pack's going to, but you can't let those guys go off, and then Miller's going off as well too. So I think if I was Coach Hurley, the key is going to be defending Miller. When you look at this UConn team, they'll go 9 guys deep, and all of those guys can play at a high level. What's the depth like on this Miami team? I know you mentioned if Omier gets in trouble, they get into trouble. Yeah. But outside of him, what's the rest of the depth on this team like? Yeah, they're not a deep team. They don't. Coach Larinaga, who's done a masterful job there at Miami, and this might have cemented him getting eventually inducted to the Hall of Fame, because he's on the ballot, and this might have put him over the top to actually get inducted. But I would say right now they really play 6 guys. That's it. 7. They're their top 7. They play 7, but their starting 5 is what it is. They'll have 6 and 7 can come off and play a little bit, but but they're not a deep team like UConn is. That's the big difference is the depth of UConn will outweigh Miami. There's no doubt about that. If UConn can get Norchad or one of the guards in foul trouble.
Mhm. When you look at foul trouble on the other side, it seems like Miami does a great job of getting to the line.
Well, they drive the ball like crazy. They
Yeah.
drive you and drive you.
Um, so I guess the key there too is looking at keeping them off the line so that they can't get those easy points there against a UConn defense that's been pretty stout so far. How do you see Omier matching up against a guy like Adama Sanogo, or when he goes to the bench, coming in and dealing with a guy who's 7'2", like Donovan Clingan?
Yeah, well, Sonogo's a stud. There's no denying that. I mean, he's really good. Miami, Miami's depth, or excuse me, UConn's depth at the 5 spot just outweighs Miami's depth, and it's not even close. Miami, with Norchad's really good, but if he's not in, there's going to be a big drop off there not having Norchad. But even those two guys, Sonogo and
Clingan.
Clinton, those two guys are there's no. I mean, Sonogo's a stud.
Yeah.
But there's not as much of a drop off if he comes out. With Norchad, there's going to be a drop off. The question is, can UConn, are they going to be able to get him into foul trouble? Now, here's what I would tell you: get Omier into foul trouble.
Yeah.
I would tell you though, Jared, the bottom line is going to be: can UConn keep Miami off of scoring? So it's one of those things where UConn might be scoring. But if Miami's scoring every possession down the floor, Miami's best defense is their offense.
Right.
Their ability to score, their ability to, as you mentioned just a minute ago, their ability to force teams into foul trouble, getting to the free throw line. They drive that ball. And the way how the game is called, advantage offense, they can space the floor because of their shooters. They're not a big team, but they are fast, they're quick, and they can score it in a hurry. And they play with a lot of freedom and looseness. They're able they play with a lot of confidence. Coach Larinaga gives them a lot of confidence. So all those things, are part of it. So what I would tell you is, look, UConn they've crushed everyone they've played. They've crushed them. The difference is the teams that they've played compared to this team, because I know you mentioned about Gonzaga's offensive efficiency. Nobody they've played to this point can score it like Miami in a breakdown type of offensive setting, if that makes sense. So
that does.
Where UConn probably did a great job defensively taking teams out of their actions in the first 4 games of the tournament, and those teams maybe don't have that guy that can just go get a bucket on their own. Miami, you can take them out of the initial actions, but then they got 3 or 4 guys that can just go drive it and score it without running a play for them. And that's going to be the big difference.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to come on here and give us a little bit of a download there on Miami. Much appreciated, and thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, congratulations again to UConn, to Coach Hurley and his staff. They've done an incredible job, and right now they are the best team in the country. And I'm going to just say this. I'm telling you, and again, UConn has smashed everyone. It's going to be a much tougher game against Miami. There's no doubt about that. But the team that I still think could win the whole thing is Florida Atlantic. I think they're really good. And I think they're the dangerous team of all the 4 teams. They might be the most dangerous of them all. Again, UConn's just playing so well right now. And they're best team in the country. But you can't sleep on Florida Atlantic. What an incredible Final Four we've got. It's going to be incredible basketball on Saturday and then an incredible championship game on Monday.
Yeah, it's going to make for a fun weekend. So, Coach, as always, appreciate it. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Jared.